more new fragrances to discuss. Hi everyone, I'm Jean-Lima and this is my channel, Scented Moments, where we discuss everything about perfumes. So in this video we'll be talking about more new fragrance releases that I had the opportunity to try last weekend at Crème de la Crème perfume store here in Vilnius. Always a pleasure to go to that perfume heaven. And so I had the opportunity to try quite a few new fragrances, which I will talk about in a minute. And also I had the opportunity to revisit a couple of also new releases that I talked about on my previous video about new fragrances first impressions. So we'll be discussing them here. And without further ado, let's get started. So the first fragrance that I tried, it was from the house of Penhaligon called Finlay. So this fragrance, it's from the Fortuitous collection from Penhaligon, and actually I'm a fan of Penhaligon overall. They have very few nice perfumes in their portfolio, and I currently have just one from the Fortuitous collection called the Uncompromising Zohan, which I think it's discontinued now. It was a rose oud fragrance, which was actually very beautiful, very well done, with a really nice dose of saffron in there. And so and also, as a side note, I do want to add a couple more from this Portraits collection, like A Blazing Mr. Sam, The Tragedy of Lord George. These two specifically, I definitely want to add. And I was very excited to try Finlay because it had a horse leather, so I thought, ooh, this will be like a horsey, dirty, leathery type of fragrance. And in the end, I mean, the opening is really nice and reminded me, you know what, of Paddock by Hermes. And Paddock, which I rave about last year, this is a hay fragrance. Like the opening, it's a hay gourmandy, like a nutty, creamy hay fragrance in the opening, Paddock. And the same happens with Finlay. It also has that hay, creamy, dry, nutty quality that then, unlike Paddock, for example, that develops into this beautiful horsey leather with a dirty aspect in there, Finlay, no. I think it really falls apart from the opening. The opening is beautiful, and although familiar, to me specifically because I have Paddock, but the opening is very beautiful also with that hay quality, with creamy nuttiness, but then it goes into a very salty, dry, soft, suede, woodsy fragrance. Nothing really to rave about at all, and it was really disappointing how it really fell apart from the opening. It had so much potential, could have been something really special and really maybe the standout from the Portraits collection from Penhaligon, but in the end it's a very mild, soft, forgettable fragrance. From the opening, it's really a disaster. So there you have it in terms of feeling. Again, these are my first impressions. I definitely want to revisit it, and I tested on my skin, but it was really a forgettable fragrance from the mid until the dry down. So the next fragrance, it's from the house of BDK Parfums called Impadia. And I'm a fan of BDK Parfums. I love Velvet Tonka, I love Gris Charnel, both the Eau de Parfum and the Extrait. I love Crème de Cuir, but Impadia, it's another forgettable fragrance. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it's basically a fruity, pear-like, jammy rose. And it has this even sorbet quality into it, this sorbet drink with this jammy rose sweetness as a flavor. It doesn't stand out within the realm of the jammy rose fragrances out there in the market. And it's just another nice smelling jammy rose fragrance. So there you have it. It's nice. Now I didn't test it on my skin, I just tested this on the test strip, and on the test strip this is how I perceive the fragrance. Maybe it would be different when if I would test on the skin, maybe I will do so. In the end, I do like this jammy rose theme in perfumes, so I will definitely give a second shot. But as first impressions on test strip, really not impressed. And I would even say that I'm not even that willing to give it a second chance. But well, I will still do so because I still like a few BDK fragrances. Maybe I will learn to appreciate this one more, but again, as first impressions, it was just a forgettable jammy rose scent. Now the next fragrance, it's from the brand of Acro, and this is called Breathe. I'm a big fan of Acro. I actually have 4 fragrances from this brand on my wish list, being Dark, Awake, Bake, and Smoke. And so it's 4 fragrances that I just adore and definitely full bottle worthy. Breathe though, it's a different story. It's such a forgettable fragrance. I would not even say that this is from the brand of Acro if I would be blind smelling it. This is basically a mash of ambroxan, bergamot, and lavender. It's this. It's so forgettable. It's like a fresh blue fragrance, which I mean, it's even now out of fashion, and we have so many blue fragrances out there with this scent profile, and from a brand as Acro that tends to be more unique. I mean, this is not a fragrance that you expect from the brand. It feels even very unfinished. It doesn't smell, yeah, to be honest, doesn't even smell good to me. It's super harsh, super synthetic, chemically smelling. I mean, the ambroxan is, for me, it's the prominent note in that perfume. And it just, I mean, what's the point of this release? Maybe they could have come with something way better than this scent profile. I do get the Breathe theme, which is like this invisible, airy, cooling type of theme, but I think there would be other ways to do this and make this work rather than just being like basically a blue fragrance in the end with a massive dose of ambroxan. So I think this is the most disappointing release, at least of this video. It's Acro's Breathe, definitely a no for me. Now I want to talk about 2 fragrances that I revisited since the last time I tried them, and I talked about them on my latest video, which these 2 are both from Amouage Purpose 50 and Lustre from the Essences collection. So Purpose 50, I still have the same opinion. So I test on my skin Purpose 50 once again, and my opinion remains amazing opening, fantastic lemony incense fragrance, natural smelling. I mean, as good as it can get in terms of incense, that falls apart from the mid until the dry down, completely falls apart into this suede akigala wood, and with the akigala wood kind of overcoming everything and being the most prominent note in the dry down. And it lasts for a day. I mean, the dry down lasts for a day, and it's just akigala wood. It's just akigala wood. I mean, it's very disappointing because it starts off so promising, and this had so much potential, and in the end, I mean, the mid, it's still okay. You still have the incense in the background with some rose. The suede is nice in dry down in the mid, but from the mid, I mean, the incense dissipates. There's no rose. You really just have suede and akigala wood, and akigala wood being the most prominent note, I would say, which is then the most prominent note until it completely fades from my skin. It's really unfortunate. Definitely not one that I will have grab a full bottle of, at least not for now. So I already tried it 2 times on my skin. For the 2 times, I still have the same opinion. Maybe I will change it in the future, but for now, it's nothing special. And the next fragrance, this is Lustre from Amouage, from the Essences collection. And I have to say, this is the one that surprised me the most because on my skin, and I tried on my skin, if you remember, if you saw my latest video where I discuss about Lustre, I just tested on the test strip, not on skin. So this time I tried on skin, and I have to say I'm quite impressed. impressed in a way that it surprised me, because I was not expecting to be that much surprised, if that makes sense. I liked it from the test strip, but I actually do prefer on my skin, which is the most important thing. This is basically a thicker, fuller version of an ambery take, and it's very sparkly and golden, and it has this like sparkly golden amber quality, that it's thick and full with some mild incense qualities, and I really do like it, to be honest. Now, it's still a fragrance that it's basically a skin scent, doesn't project. At least I do not detect any sort of projection, unless I would really try on my skin and see, like smell directly from my skin, and then I would really be welcomed by this really sparkly golden amber, that it's beautiful, very thick and full type of perfume, that it's a skin scent, and I adore it. Actually, I really do like it. Maybe we'll have a full bottle of that, and with Outlands as well. Two fragrances that I do really enjoy. I do not think that they are the best work of Amouage, far from it, but I still think that they are worth full bottle. And I then revisited Reasons, because again, Reasons for me was so disappointing that I think I will just try it next time. But feel free to check my video where I discuss about Reasons as well. And last but certainly not least, we have Maison Francis Kurkdjian Kurky, or as Pradip at Sensatura, shout out to you my friend, would say in his review, a quirky release. And it actually is a quirky release. This is basically a fragrance that wants to represent Francis Kurkdjian's childhood, and Kurky, it's the surname that it was used to call him. And the whole marketing, it's all about like this nostalgia, childhood nostalgia. And the scent itself is basically like a gummy bear, like a playful, fruity, tutti frutti accord, gummy type of scent that never screams, doesn't scream for attention. It's actually a moderate, sweet, fruity fragrance that it's extremely playful, but again, is not screaming for attention, meaning it's not loud, doesn't it's not overwhelming, doesn't project. It's not meant to fill a room. I think it's meant just to be enjoyed as it is. And it dries down into this super addictive musky accord or note in here that I really adore. Needless to say that Kurky, it moved me. It really transported me to my childhood times, also on a time when I was playing with my friends, eating gummies and all sorts of candies and chocolate. And I think that it's something very powerful. And I just adore the overall message behind, because I resonated with. So the entire branding, marketing behind that fragrance, I think it's really spot on with the scent itself. The price tag, it's also very reasonable, and I think it also matches the scent, which is 185 euros for a 70 ml retail. Very, very reasonable, and I think it's quite acceptable for the type of fragrance that it is. And I will also say that if you are a fan of, so I have here Baccarat Rouge, and this is the extrait, which I prefer to the Eau de Parfum. If you're a fan of Baccarat Rouge, chances are that you will also appreciate Kurky. Now, these are still different from each other, although they have some similarities in a way that both are sweet and fruity, but the similarities really end up there, because then this, especially the extrait, I mean, the performance is massive, both in terms of projection and longevity. The Parfum also, it's quite nice in that regard, but I really don't like the Eau de Parfum smell. I much prefer the extrait. And Kurky, while it has that fruity sweetness, but everything is more toned down. But in the end, if you like Baccarat Rouge, I think you will appreciate Kurky. Now, you need to have in consideration that Kurky is not an attention-grabbing type of scent, unlike Baccarat Rouge is. So in the end, I think it's a stunning release. I was literally expecting that I would be bashing this fragrance and it would be like another forgettable release by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, but it's not. I mean, I completely resonated with, and I will definitely grab a full bottle of. So far, my favorite niche fragrance release of 2025. Outrageous, but well, it's how it is. I'm really happy with how that fragrance works and on my skin, and so again, we'll grab a full bottle of it quite soon, I hope. Guys, let me know in the comments down below if you find value in this video, if you already tried any of these fragrances. Let me know if you did so and what's your thoughts on any of these fragrances that we just discussed. Again, if you find value in this video, hit the like button, subscribe, check out all the other fragrance contents that I have available, and see you in the next one. Take care, guys.